Oh my gosh, there are so many books. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ali and today I am doing my December book haul. Now, through the last couple of months, I've amassed quite a few books. So I thought this would be the perfect time to do a book haul before the pile gets any bigger and any crazier. I just love collecting books, and at this point I have nowhere to put them, so we'll figure that out another time. But for now, let's get into this mother effing huge book haul. I am so excited. Now, I'm going to start off with a series that has been so talked about, and I am really excited to get into this genre mashup of a book series. And I think the third one's coming out next year, which I'm really excited about, and it is the Jennifer L. Armentrout fantasy romance series. So From Blood and Ash is the first one, and then Kingdom of Flesh and Fire is the second one, and then the third one is coming out in 2021. Now, I basically heard that this is like Sarah J. Maas level books with vampires, and so if you like that, you'll probably like these. So I'm really excited. That's all that I know about the book, and that's all that I want to know. And I've heard people that I really like rave about it, like Mel Reeds has raved about it, and Books with Chloe really likes it, I believe, and I'm really interested in this series. So if you've read these, let me know what you thought of them, because I will be really interested to know. The next book that I bought is Kings of the Wild by Nicholas Ames, and if you saw my pre-haul video, this was on it. Now, I've heard such good things, and after I posted that video, some of you even came and said that you loved this book, so it definitely encouraged me to go ahead and purchase it. I'll be buddy reading this with my boyfriend because I think that he'll really like the premise and the story of this book. Even though I haven't read it, I just feel like he would probably enjoy it. It's kind of like a boys are back in town type of novel, and it's marketed that way as well. So basically what happens is these band of warriors that were really ferocious and popular back in their prime have to come back together because one of their daughters gets kidnapped and taken to the other kingdom. So they get back together and they try to save her, and I'm told it's hilarious and it's one of those epic, awesome adventure novels. So I'm really looking forward to reading this. I think it'll probably be like a 4-star read for me, and that's always great. Plus, it's adult fantasy, and I'm trying to get more into adult fantasy these days. The next book I got is a little less exciting. It's a sequel to The Sea Witch, and it's called The Sea Witch Rising, and it's by Sarah Henning. Now, I haven't read the first one yet, but I found this at a bargain bookstore, and I thought I would go ahead and grab it because it was a really good price, and I can't say no to a steal when it comes to books. So I got this one, and it matches my first one, so hopefully I will like them so that I can keep them. If not, that's okay too. The next book I got is really popular on BookTube, really popular in general, and has received some rave reviews, and that is Cemetery Boys by Aiden Thomas. Even my favorite book bloggers and reviewers have raved about this novel. It is about Yadriel, who I think is our protagonist, whose family won't accept his gender, and so he goes to prove himself to be a real brutal, and he, with the help of his friends, tries to raise a spirit, a specific spirit, but they end up raising a spirit of the resident bad boy that was recently murdered, and this bad boy spirit won't go away because he wants to find out who really killed him and how his murder really happened. And that begins our adventure into this story. It sounds really good. It's Latinx, it's LGBTQ inclusive, and it's a YA novel. It sounds amazing, and it sounds like a story, and it sounds like characters that I've never read about before. So I'm really looking forward to this one. So this was a book that I had heard about in the beginning of the year on BookTube, and I didn't really see the excitement around it, but then the sequel came out this year, and that book sounds really good. So now I ended up getting this book at a bargain bookstore for a really good price, and I'm excited actually so that I can read the second one, and that is Mirage by Samaya Dowd. I hope I'm pronouncing her name right, but it's Samaya Dowd, and it's about this princess who needs a body double, and a girl that gets kidnapped who basically is the mirror image of the princess and is forced to live in the castle and be around the princess as her body double because this princess is really hated by her people, so she needs protection in that manner. And it's about those adventures and those intrigues in the castle with the body double, and I think there's like love triangles and things like that. So this is another YA book. It seems really short, so I feel like it's gonna be a really quick read, and The cover is actually really stunning and the purple is iridescent. So I'm glad in the end that I got to pick up the hardcover version and that I got, you know, one of the last few copies, because hardcovers are not printed forever, as we know, and it is absolutely stunning. If you guys have read this series, let me know, because I haven't heard too much about it and I've definitely heard some mixed things, but I'm really interested in the story and definitely in the sequel that came out this year. So the next two are actually volumes 1 and 2 of a manga series that is really popular. It is a Japanese manga series, and that is Death Note. So I think in this first it has volumes 1 and 2, and in the second one it has volumes 3 and 4. They are absolutely stunning paperbacks of this manga with the black sprayed edges, and the artwork inside is beautiful. So this is about a boy called Light, and he finds Death Note, which is a notebook by the god of death, and whenever you write someone's name in this notebook, they die. So Light is trying to use this to get rid of the world's evil, but of course nothing is that simple, and it just seems like awesome. It just seems like a great story and a great premise, and I mean, everyone that I've talked to you about this particular, you know, manga or anime, they love it. So I think both the manga and the anime are both really good. So I'm just happy I bought it. I feel like, you know, take my money. The next one is, again, part of that kind of used bookstore haul that I did, and that is Howl's Moving Castle by Diana Wynne Jones. And I laugh because literally every friend that has come over to my house in the past like 2 or 2.5 months is like, Howl's Moving Castle is a book? And I'm like, yeah, it's a book too. I feel like I must have seen the anime when I was like really young, because I don't remember much about it, but I want to read this. I want to read it again, and maybe if I love it, I'm just gonna own it. But I'm not gonna go through the premise or the summary or anything like that, because I feel like everyone knows what it's about. It's such a popular read, and this is the old school cover. The next book I want to show you guys is a book that has been really popular on BookTube and written by a POC author, and this story just in general sounds really incredible, and I bought a special edition because the cover is stunning. The story I know is going to be amazing, and it's received super amazing reviews from everyone that I've seen read it on BookTube. And this book just, I remember hearing booktubers talk about the summary of this book, and I can't remember too much about it, so I want to remain in the dark until I open it and get to start reading it. But this book just sounds so intriguing, so complex, so interesting, and different than other premises that I have read, especially for this year's novels. It also has some badass female characters, and I'm all about those. And that is A Song of Wraiths and Ruin by Roseanne A. Brown. And this is a special edition copy that I think I got from a Limit Crate when they were selling this one. It's got the beautiful pine green edges and that beautiful metallic silver and gold cover, and it is stunning. So I know that there's political intrigue, there's spirits, it's fantasy, there's magic, and that's all I need to know in order to read this book. I know a bunch of you have probably already read this, so if you have, let me know what you thought about it, good or bad. Please, no spoilers. So the next book I received in a fairy loot box. This one I didn't end up unboxing on camera, so I thought I would show it to you guys in my haul. And that is Kingdom of the Wicked by Carrie Maniscalco. It has these beautiful stenciled edges of these beautiful flowers on the side, and the top and the bottom are black sprayed edges. So this book is really stunning. It is about this character whose twin gets murdered, and so she's really angry, she wants vengeance, and she calls upon one of the wicked, who is a prince of hell, and he tells her that he's on her side and he's there to solve the murders of this island, of who her sister has been the most recent victim, and she entrusts his help. And I think this is going to be a series, so more to come on that. I'm not 100% sure, but I believe so, and this is the first in that series. Now this sounds really great, very wicked, very evil, and I am just in the mood for a dark fantasy, especially with the winter coming and the seasons just getting darker. So this one I think will be really good, and I have heard so far really good reviews. It is gaining popularity on BookTube, so I'm excited. The next book I actually heard about from another booktuber who did a haul, and her name is Donna Tsundoku. I love her channel, it's amazing. She has really good taste in books, and I really like some of her recommendations. So this one I got especially because I am Canadian also, and I should be learning about the history of other peoples in Canada, and it is called This Place, 150 Years Retold, and the foreword is by Alicia Elliott, but I think there was a whole cohort of artists and writers that helped write this. It is a graphic novel of the history of Indigenous peoples in Canada, written by Indigenous people, and it goes through the last 150 years of that history. And I don't know much about that, not something that I've explored from Indigenous peoples. I am getting more and more interested in Indigenous stories, and I want to read more from Indigenous authors, so I think this is one of the first few books that I really want to get into, and it just seems really visually appealing as well. The next book, I can't remember 100% where I saw this, but I think one of my favorite book bloggers that I follow on Goodreads and whose blog I do read online, I'll try to link her down below, but she's so popular that I'll be surprised if you haven't heard of her. She was reading this book and she gave it a 4.5 stars, and it just sounded so good and something that I would definitely enjoy in a fantasy novel. It is called The Empire of Sand by Tasha Suri. This is the first book in, I believe, what is a trilogy, but it's definitely a series. And it is about these people that have magic in their veins, and our main character is able to shape the dreams of gods to alter the shape of the world, is apparently the quote that they used. And when one of the Emperor's mystics gets wind of her powers, they try to, I think, capture her, and thus begins our story. But it has some really amazing quotes and reviews from really popular authors like S.A. Chakraborty, who did write the City of Brass series, and I hope I pronounced their name right, but I'm not 100% sure. Feel free to correct me. And it just seems like such a good read, and definitely a series that I want to get into, so I'm happy that I saw this one and that I follow some pretty awesome book bloggers. So this next book is a book that I bought because A, it's stunning, and B, it sounds really good. The reviews that I've ended up seeing are really mixed. I've seen some good ones and some not so good ones, and some folks being disappointed in this read, but I still wanted to give it a shot, and it was really too gorgeous to pass up when I saw the cover. And that is The Unspoken Word by A.K. Larkwood. I think this is an adult fantasy novel. I'm not 100% sure. But basically, our main character is destined to die and be sacrificed to her god. But during the day of her sacrifice, a wizard gives her a deal that he can help her survive if she pledges to be loyal to him and turn into a thief and a spy, etc., to be by his side and help him topple an empire so that he can get his seat to the throne. But she quickly realizes that gods don't forget when you've turned your back on them, and it sounds like there are definitely consequences in store for her. This book sounds really good when you read the summary on the inside, so I'm hoping that I won't be disappointed by it, but we'll see. I haven't heard this one talked about very much on BookTube, so I'm hopeful that it's gonna be good, but stay tuned. The next book is a non-fiction book, one that I'm really interested in. I do love non-fiction books. I like to sprinkle them in to my fantasy and fiction heavy reading. And this one is called Flow by Mihai Csikszentmihalyi. I believe he is one of the founders, if not a really strong psychologist in the field of positive thinking. And it talks about how to get into the flow when you're doing something that you're really enjoying doing and you lose track of time and you're just really happy to be in that flow and that energy. And it talks about that, how to get into it, what it means, what it does for your happiness and your brain and everything like that. So I am excited to read this. I don't know much about flow in a very scientific sense, but I do experience it myself when I'm doing things that I really love and I lose track of time, where 30 minutes feels like 2 minutes instead of a whole day. So it's one of those things where it feels like your day is going so much faster because you're enjoying what you're doing, whereas when you're not enjoying something, your day feels like it's going by so slow, and that is flow. All right, these are our last two books, and they are part of a series, and they are part of a really popular series on BookTube, and that is The Poppy War and The Dragon Republic. Now, part of me regrets not buying the hardcover versions because they are so beautiful, and I might even go back and get the hardcover versions if I end up really loving The Poppy War. It's really hard to find this one hardcover now, so I'm really sad. I'm sad that I can't find a hardcover. but I found this one hardcover online, so I might purchase it and just hope for the best with this one. And I've heard really good things. Our main character's name is Rin, and she is a poor peasant girl from the south. She enrolls or gets into this academy where she discovers this amazing shamanic power that she has, that the gods that they thought were dead are really not dead, and it goes into the story from that sense on. I have heard amazing things about the books. I've also heard that they crush you and rip your heart out, and that R.F. Kuang takes no prisoners. So I am equal parts excited and terrified to read the series, but I feel like I have to, and it's really calling my name. So we're just gonna do it. Well, I'm excited. I want to read this book for sure. And then I got this one, obviously, which is the sequel, so we'll see. All right, guys, that is it for my December book haul. It was a long one. There are a lot of books in this book haul. I don't know what happened, but I'm not mad at it. If you have read any of these books, or if you've hauled any of these books, please leave a comment down below. I want to know what you think of them, what you're excited to read, what you've hauled recently. If you've hauled anything recently and posted it on YouTube, please let me know. I'd love to watch your video. If you like this video, please click the like button. It really does help support my channel. And if you like my channel and you like my content, please click the subscribe button. That would also really help me out. Thank you.